What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my unboxing video for the AVerMedia Live Gamer Portable C875 video recorder. This was something I wanted to pick up. I debated picking up for a while. I do a lot of video recording. A while back, just as a reference for this, I bought the AVerMedia C874, which was, at the time of me buying this, it was already slightly an outdated capture card. It does component in and out. It does HDMI out, but not in, so it can't record HDMI out. It can just output it. And it can do S-video in and S-video and composite video in. And it was a pretty good capture card. It really was. I must have bought this at least 3 to 4 years ago, and I've been using it pretty much exclusively ever since. And it's been very good. I had one little hiccup with it at one point where I did have to restore my computer to get it working again, but that's a whole nother story. But the device itself has been really good. And like I said, even at my time of purchasing this was a bit out of date. So I was already kind of late into getting component was already kind of going out of date, and HDMI was taking over. And over the last 4 years, it's been just me using this and just using component and S-video when I need to. I plan to do a review on this now that I've meant to do a review on this for quite some time, but I plan to do a review on this now that I've gotten a new one, since I'll probably be using this one significantly less. This one will still definitely have its uses. It's still a very good capture card in the sense that it has composite, S-video, and component, so it's a pretty good jack of all trades. But I decided it was time to get myself something new. I have not gotten myself something new in a pretty long time. Something, like I guess you could call it a toy. Something like a toy new. So I decided this was a good option for a lot of reasons. One, HDMI is just becoming standard. HDMI is just really good. It is, the next step up, and it's becoming very much the standard across all boards. So I really wanted an HDMI in and out capture card. My previous capture card, like I said, the C874, did actually only went up to 1080i interlace. It would not do 1080p progressive. It actually would not. It would reject 1080p signals. So that was kind of an interesting thing to it. 1080i, I typically just do 720 myself. I have no problem with that, but it's nice to have the ability if I want it, and it was just too bad that this was capped off at that. So, on to the AVerMedia Live Gamer Portable Pro. So, inside the box, you can check out everything that comes with it. I purchased mine off of Amazon.com. They all kind of go for right around the same price no matter where you buy them. Overall, this is one of the leading competitors in its market, and this one stuck out more for me, not just because I'm already sort of bought into AVerMedia. I like AVerMedia products. I think it's a good company. But also, this one just stood out above the rest for me in a few ways, and we'll look at that as I go through the unboxing. So I have actually not opened this up. Take one last look at the outside boxing before we pull it all out. You can find most of this information on their site, or on most sellers will post this as well. So if you're curious about that, you can check that out there. It also incidentally comes with the XSplit subscription that I believe it's, 3 months? That's pretty good. So if you're interested, which this is marketed, have to be a very good external live streaming device. So if you're interested in that, that's great. And I could possibly dabble around live stream, but I bought it primarily for the recording. Not only what it can do and how much more up to date it is as opposed to what I'm using right now, but its special little feature that really makes the portable part portable. Okay, so let's check this out. I'm actually pretty eager about this. Like I said, I haven't bought myself anything new in a while, and I'm excited. Oh, that's presentation. It's one thing to open a box and get all the wires together and everything in the device. It's another thing to see presentation like this. That's beautiful. And just before I get any further, just as a comparison, 5 years ago, now, this far superior to this in, software terms and hardware terms. It is a upgrade. Not only that, it fits on top of it. I could fit 3 of these on top of it. It's really sleek and nice too. For a while, one of the things I didn't like was that it has kind of this red decal on the outside of it. But actually, it's kind of grown on me over time. And once we hook it up and check it out, you'll see why I like it even more. Usually, I prefer the sleek black like this, but the red decal on here actually kind of started to catch my eye over time. And after we turn it on and hook it up, you'll see why I like it even more. Wow, this is really nice to hold. It's super light too. Compared to this, which a lot of people would have component capture devices like this. Some bulky ones, which I don't even consider this bulky. I think this was a very sleek design. This one was when everyone was buying Hapogs, I actually preferred this over that because it did the exact same thing a Hapog would do, I believe. And I just preferred the design of this. I still to this day think this is a very sleek and nice looking device. And it's not too heavy, but compared to this, it's so, I mean, this feels like it's going to fall out of it doesn't feel like there's anything in here. I'm kind of worried that it might not be because it's so light. So let's get the plastic off and take a closer look at this. Oh, nice. So this thing is really cool looking. It looks very up to date, very sleek, very modern design. So the first thing you'll notice on the front of it is we have this little switch right here, and this switch is actually between, which is one of the coolest things about this device to me, especially compared to what I'm coming from. This just would have been unheard of. But this device actually has the ability to go between recording and encoding the video files recorded directly onto a computer, so the standard hookup from an external capture card being recorded into and then exporting out onto a computer. By flipping this switch, it can actually record via an SD card, which I just think is just awesome. So if you're not around a computer, you want to take this with you somewhere to record something, or maybe you just don't keep your computer near you, maybe you don't want to record on your computer, that's fine. You can record right onto an SD card with no computer. Just hook up whatever output you're using into the device, and it records right into an SD card. Now I know there's some finagling that comes with this, and there's some downgrades that come with this. I think the quality goes down a little bit, the frame rate goes down, but honestly I think it's worth it. For PC free mode, that's awesome. That just seems like a really advanced feature to me, and I know it's becoming more and more common now, but to someone like me who's coming from what I'm coming from, that sounds awesome. That could be very useful in a lot of regards. SD card over here, this is the connection, so you can output if you are recording the PC, you can output here through to the computer. And on the back we have AV in, HDMI out, audio in, and audio out. And the audio in and out are for recording for PC free mode. I believe if you want to record your own audio into it, I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it's nice to have it there just in case you needed it. We'll take a look inside the box. So this is actually really cool too. I think this actually comes with a carrying case, but if you ever wanted to place it back in here, this is a very solid piece of plastic molding for it to come in. It's nice when I see a little bit better of quality on stuff. There is the XSplit 3-month, which I'll hold on to. I don't do a lot of live streaming, but who knows, maybe with this I might want to, now that I have a solid capture card that can easily run something and can take the edge off my computer. That's my favorite thing about this, that this is more efficient at encoding, so it'll actually take the edge off my computer, which is where it would usually run it down. I don't like to run other programs on my computers doing that, but maybe it'll make it easier to live stream now. We have the user manual right here, which gives, I believe, it gives a complete detailed instructions. So just in case you're not sure what you're doing, or you don't want to look up anything, or don't want to figure it out, detailed instructions right there on everything you can need. The complete device, a schematic of the complete device, all methods of hooking it up right there, which we're going to go over in a second. This is really complete and nice. So just in case you're unsure of something, it seems like they got you covered right here. Wow, this is really nice. I mean, this is really posh. I like how it's a nice sleek black cardboard too, as opposed to like white or gray. That's really nice. Okay. There's everything out of the bag. Oh, there we go. There's the case. They even give you a carrying case for it. I know it's marketed as a portable capture device, so ideally it's made light, it's made small, so you can bring it around. But the case is a really nice touch. Where most manufacturers would make you buy something like this, the case just kind of really sells at home that yes, you can definitely travel with this. You can take this places and record anywhere with it. So that's really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these out of the bag just to make things easy, and we'll take a look at them. Okay, so we've got everything out of the bag now. The nice sleek carrying case, and this isn't the kind of carrying case that's made out of like a cheap kind of like cloth or something. It's made out of a very firm foam rubber kind of substance where you can see you can kind of bend it, but it slaps back into place. So I would feel confident. Oh, and the inside is actually lined too. The inside is actually lined with like a kind of really soft foam. So you could easily, I would feel comfortable placing my device into this carrying case, which fits very snug. Almost a little too snug. And closing it. Okay, so it's in there pretty good. And yeah, I think that could definitely, take a little bit of abuse and it would be fine. I probably won't be traveling with it, but on the off chance I do, really nice to have, especially if you are someone who would be traveling with it. This is a really nice thing to come with it, actually. So I think the only bad thing I can say about that when I go to look for a product, I do multiple video searches, I do multiple written reviews, I do multiple reviews of any kind. I go through it for hours, I look at every angle of it, and that's why getting this and purchasing it was, I feel good about it. The only downside that I could ever find with any of this, really, from my point of view, was the HDMI cable. Now, it's nice that they include an HDMI cable, and I'm sure if you were on the go, you would probably keep the device pretty close to whatever you're outputting from. But this is, I mean, this is about a foot. It must be, yes, a foot of an HDMI cable. For me, that's not going to work out very well between where I keep my TV and where I record. I mean, it's about 3 feet in between for me. I have HDMI cable, so it's not a problem, and I'm not, I can't, beggars can't be choosers. I'm not complaining that I got a free HDMI cable with the purchase of this. But I mean, I probably won't end up using this HDMI cable. I'm sure I can find a use for it, but it is rather short of an HDMI cable. I think another foot would have been nice. Just one more foot. Double the length of this would be good. But you can't complain because at least it's there, right? Better than a manufacturer supplying a device and then not supplying cables such as these. So this is the AVin, and this is something that was really cool that also really sold me on it, even though I already have a component capture card and I don't plan to get rid of it because I have it for now. If I wanted to, I can actually hook this up into the AVin and I can input component cable, which is really cool to me. So it is, to an extent, a little backwards compatible in terms of the connection type, where a lot of these type of cards nowadays, a lot of these capture cards are only HDMI, and they've just completely gotten rid of any component, obviously won't want compositors for you, but they've just completely phased out component. But if you are someone like me who will be switching between HDMI and component, you have the option to go between HDMI in and out, and you can go component in and still do HDMI out, which is really, really convenient, as opposed to having a component in and component out. When this is hooked up, there's a lot of wires here. We have all 6 going in over here and all 6 going out. So it makes this looks sleek, but once you plug all those cables in the back, you kind of have like a bulky wire mess coming out of the back. It's nice to have that option to be able to plug in component to an HDMI capture card. So that was, again, one of the bigger selling points to me, was the fact that I could not only do HDMI, but I could still also do component in with this. So that's very nice. Here you have your 3.5 millimeter audio jack. So if you intend to be using the audio jack for recording, they have one to go out, so you'll just be able to plug in yours, and then you have this for out. Really nice of them, very convenient. So this cable, I believe, is a cable for the PlayStation 3 if you use one. I personally don't have a PlayStation 3. I might in the future. I've heard of some copy protection that makes it difficult to record with the PS3, and you need to do a few workarounds going to record with the PS3, so it's nice that they include this cable. Again, like I said, I don't have one. I've not personally done it. I don't know all the details and how it works, but I do know that's what this is for. So if you do that, you're covered right here. And then finally, you have your cable to record to the computer. If you never plan on using the computer, if you never plan on recording directly to your PC with the device, you probably won't even need this, but I believe it is proprietary. I'm not sure. I imagine it is. And I think this is going to be pretty sleek to come in. So if it's plugged in that way, and then I have my HDMI cords in this way, that's pretty sleek, I think. That actually, it's ironic too, because my other capture card, the way I have my computer set up, it's to the left of my TV, and it actually made it a little difficult to arrange the wires the way I wanted them. This will actually be perfect the way I record right now. This will actually be very perfect, since this doesn't appear to be too long of a cord. Again, this is where it would be difficult if you with a proprietary cable. The current one I have right now, I would say the cord I have right now that I use to go from my device, from my older device to my computer, is actually longer than this cord supplied right here. I would say it's about, this is about probably 1.5 to 2 feet long, and I would say the one I have now is probably about 2 feet. Not much longer, but a little bit longer, and when it's a proprietary connection, this isn't something, as far as I know, you'll be able to do a USB extender on. I don't believe something like that will work when you're using video recording, so you're kind of you'd be out of luck if your computer was too far from. I just felt the top of this. It's actually not a complete matte finish. It's kind of got like a little I don't know how to explain it. It's got like a bit of a wavy design in it, kind of like a little bit of lines through it. It's actually a really, really nice finish on the top here, as opposed to this like your standard kind of plastic where the red is. The bottom, It's got like a kind of like what you'd expect on a mouse pad. It's to keep a mouse pad from sliding, so it won't be sliding all over the place. And the top is very smooth and well finished. I like it. I really do like the presentation of the device. It's very sleek. It's very nice. It pops out amongst most other hardware you'll probably have, and it really stands out against its competitors in terms of looks too. It just that little edge. I really like the extra flourish that this whole device has, which is another reason why I chose it over so many others of its competitors. Okay, so now that we've seen everything, we've got the component in, audio jack, the PS3 cable, HDMI cable, and your cable to hook up to your computer. Checked over the whole device for all its inputs, the SD card, the computer hookup, and the PC free mode versus the PC recording mode. The whole device is really nice. I really like it. On top here is actually a button. And this is where things start to get cool. This is where I start to get a little bit like a kid in a candy store, where it's one thing to have a device that can do all this, can do PC free mode, and is all up to date like this. It's another thing to have this kind of push to record button, which I'm very excited about. I'm eager to try out. Okay, so now we've checked out everything. I'm eager to try this out. We're going to go ahead and hook it up. I'm going to see if I can install the software, which is one thing I should mention is this device, nowhere does it come with a CD to install the software. You actually have to go online to get the software to download the drivers for this, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. Other than the HDMI cable, I would say that was the biggest thing I heard. I really wish they'd include like a flash drive, if not a disc, if that was too big for the styling of the box, if that was the reasoning. I'm not sure if it was just to save money because they assume most people will be able to get online to go and download it, but I really like having a physical copy of drivers or software to install like that, especially when it's a device like this. So the fact that it's not included in the box actually makes me a little uneasy. It's not so uneasy, but makes me feel a little like they really could have included that. I wish they had. But overall, with what you get for what I paid, I really can't complain. I'm eager to go hook this up, so let's go and check it out. Alright, so here's the AVerMedia all hooked up. Full admission, to break the fourth wall a bit, it's been a little while since I've actually unboxed the card, and I've had it hooked up and used it quite a few times already. So I know my way around the card. You do indeed need this cable not only to connect to your PC via USB to record, but you also need it as a power supply. Without this, there is no other power supply, which has its pros and its cons in its own right, but I'll save that for a review in the future. HDMI in, HDMI out, and here I have the AV plugin they have for component cables, which is really useful. I have not tested yet to see if you can plug in composite cables into this, but you can use component cables at as low as a signal, as low as 480i on these component cables going to a Wii, and they work all the way up to 1080p, just like they would for an HDMI cable. So that's a really, really convenient accessory, and it's just as simple as, if you don't want that, to unplug this. Really useful. I haven't actually used the capturing onto an SD card. I do have an SD card there. It's completely compatible, but I haven't exactly tested that out yet because my setup happens to be really close to my PC. But if you didn't have a close setup to your PC, it would be useful. However, you still do need this cable to power the device, so I find it kind of odd that this is an option when I wouldn't be able to go completely PC free with this. I've tried to plug this into an AC converter, USB to AC adapter, and it's a no-go on that. So you do need to be hooked up to a PC as far as I know. If there is another way to set it up in another mode, I'm not sure. Having it all hooked up though, it's nice, it's easy, it's sleek, it looks beautiful. You know when the device is powered on and connected because you have a solid blue ring. If the device is searching for your PC, it'll have a flashing blue ring. And one of the coolest things about this device is, you can see over here on my desktop, I could easily click the icon to bring up the interface to begin capturing. But if I didn't want to do that, I could just click the button. The application launches, and the device indicates that the application is launched. Now that the application is launched, I could select the settings I want and begin to capture. But if I really want to capture on the go, I can click it again now with the application open. It immediately launches to a capture mode, and the device immediately begins to capture, indicated by the flashing red ring. And this is it's just really cool. It's something, you don't necessarily need if you're not capturing on the go, but it's really cool that I can do this if I want to. I really like it. So this is the device interface. At the moment I have it hooked up to capture my PC monitor, but like I said, you can have it capture any kind of HDMI input or component in through the AV in. I've captured via my PC, and I've captured via my Xbox 360 and my Wii. All work very well, all have multiple different settings. While in the open capture module, I can choose to mute the audio that's being captured, pause and record the video, and take a screenshot, which the screenshots that come out are actually very nice quality and very useful. These are video adjustment settings. It gives me a readout of how much space I have left, capture time that's currently going, and the preview. I can stop the recording, it'll save it. In this particular setup I have preset settings. Over here, a bulletin from AVerMedia, which is actually kind of useful to keep up to date if they do any kind of updates here. I typically don't check these, but it is nice to have just some sort of a connection here to the AVerMedia site. You have your capture module, streaming, and video folder. I haven't used the streaming function much, but I hope to in the future at some point. It has quite a few settings under streaming. They're very similar to the same as the capture setup. They might actually be identical. I haven't checked out the streaming setting, but I do hope to in the future and give more in depth in that if I do a review. Over on the capture setting, you can do a full through capture setup. I can do a quick select on what I want. I have profiles already set up based on what I would be capturing from and the settings I would want via those, and then you can title them as you want. So the settings I want for an Xbox 360, I already preset and I named it 360 for my PC screen and my Wii. You can do one click to immediately start capturing from the application if you don't want to click the device, but I mean, why wouldn't you? It's pretty cool. And then in your advanced settings, you can select all these settings. You can do different types of video format, TS and MP4, all different types of resolution, video bitrate, audio bitrate, frame rate, your hotkeys for quick capturing, your audio settings. You can do HDMI in via whatever you're capturing from, component in, audio in if you want to plug in audio and have separate audio track being captured via whatever you're plugging it into. Stereo mix, if you want to capture from your microphone, you can do that. You can select it so it's a different file altogether from your video, so you can separate your video and your audio depending on what you're capturing from via audio. Video sources of HDMI and component. You can select your platforms here, and then after you've decided how you want this, you can choose to save what you want and name it accordingly. So overall, the AVerMedia Live Gamer Portable is shaping up to be a really cool capture card. I hope it will suit me well, and I'll get a lot of use out of it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this unboxing helpful.